So that's why you're going to see the Lord is going to tell Isaac, in this time period, don't go back into the land of Egypt. Don't do, because Isaac was the son of Abraham. So of course, when things happened, he knew how to handle it because his father taught him how to handle distressful situations. Okay, the same way his father said that you have a beautiful wife. Best thing to do when you're traveling is to say that's your sister.
Just like our fathers, Abraham. Let's go through trials and tribulations now at this time.
All things that Isaac and Abraham and Isaac went through, God was with him through those hard times, and had guided them and leaded them and was responsible for all their success. Even that God inspired and used men to bring about different changes. And to the ones that was able to recognize that and realize that and give the acknowledgement back to God that it was God that made a big difference for his people in America. How they use their education to also keep the Israelites asleep and teach them lies, especially about history, especially about the Bible, things that pertain to God. You'll never figure certain things out in the miseducation of the Israelites.
I'm in awe of a verse like this, and I would like you to comment on how someone can think why someone should be in awe of this Bible, how true it is.
So when things is going well, in a place that almost nothing goes well, you're supposed to acknowledge God that he is doing these things. Very important to always point out when the Lord did something.
And always remember.
All right, so let me get a reader for Genesis 26 in 1, please. Genesis 26 and 1. Read that.
And there was a famine in the land, beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham.
Okay, so this is giving us history, so we don't get the stories confused, because a lot of things in the story is similar. The area is similar, because this is the area that the Lord was going to give the children of Israel. The area is the same, because this is the area that the Lord was going to give the children of Israel as an inheritance. So the family, the patriarchs, they stayed in that vicinity. They stayed in that area, so that the stories don't get confused. The Lord is giving different. He's giving time periods to show that this didn't all happen at the same time. So that's why he mentioned that there was a famine in the land, but this was a different famine from the first famine that was in the land in the days of Abraham. The precept for that is Genesis chapter 12. Everybody go to Genesis chapter 12. And when you're dealing with this particular chapter, this is the order of how you go through it. You have to point out the time period difference because of the similarities in the narratives, the similarities in the stories. So people don't think it's the same story and the Bible is just repeating itself and it can't be true, and they're just saying the same stories over and over again. All these things couldn't happen to different men. The writers wasn't creative enough to come up with a new story. They're going to say a lot of things. But this was a different time. Okay. Read Genesis chapter 12, verse 10. Genesis chapter 12, verse 10 is the time that is referring to when it mentioned the famine in the days of Abraham. Read that, please.
And there was a famine in the land.
Read on.
And Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there.
Read on.
For the famine was grievous in the land.
Okay, so this particular time, Abraham, in this famine, he went to Egypt. He didn't stay in the land of Canaan, okay, to sojourn there. So that's why you're going to see the Lord is going to tell Isaac, in this time period, don't go back into the land of Egypt. Don't do, because Isaac was the son of Abraham. So, of course, when things happened, he knew how to handle it because his father taught him how to handle distressful situations. Okay? The same way his father said that, you have a beautiful wife. Best thing to do when you're traveling is to say that's your sister, okay? He got that from his father. Everybody understand that? But so he knew the history of the different things that his father had went through. So he knew that his father had success in Egypt in the first famine. So the Lord stepped in and told Isaac in this second famine that was coming in the land, don't go to Egypt. Okay, it's not safety down there in Egypt like it was in the days of Abraham. So it's pointing out that it's a different time period. Do everybody see that? All right, read that one more time. Tell them where you at, Genesis 12 and 10.
Come
on.
And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there.
Read on.
For the famine was grievous in the land.
For the famine was grievous in the land. It should be no con to the reader. I'm not talking to you. You just read. Read on.
And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter unto Egypt,
read on,
that he said unto Sarah, his wife, behold now.
He said unto Sarah, his wife. That's a sentence. You just keep going. Read that one more time. Read 10 one more time. 11 one more time.
And it came to pass,
read on,
when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai his wife,
read on,
behold now,
read on,
I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon.
Read on.
Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, this is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive.
Read on.
Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister.
Okay, so that's why, again, Moses, in telling us this story, he made sure that he pointed out the different time periods, because you had some things that was similar that was happening in the life of Isaac that already happened in the life of Abraham. They both had extremely beautiful wives. And Abraham taught Isaac how to survive in a land that was filled with heathens walking around with a beautiful woman like that. Do everybody understand that? Right. Abraham told Isaac that these heathens were not God-fearing, that they didn't believe in God, they didn't fear our God, and that you was going to have wisdom. You had to use wisdom and knowledge to stabilize your times. Do everybody understand that? Right. The world cursed Abraham out, and they call him a liar. Because they say that he lied saying that Sarah was his sister. But when you read the the chapters, when Abimelech had asked Abraham, why did he say Sarah was his sister? He said, for indeed she is my sister. Do everybody understand that? Right. Everybody got that? Right. All right, so let's move on. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 26 and 1. Genesis 26 and 1. And read that again.
And there was a famine in the land.
Read on.
Beside the first famine. Read on. That was in the days of Abraham.
Okay, now very important. The days of Abraham, this famine that was in that land. Then what happened in Egypt with the Pharaoh in Egypt, Abraham also ended up traveling to the same area of Gerar in the land of Canaan. And interacting with Abimelech. Do everybody understand that? What's very important to point out is that between that time and this time, you can never leave Christ out of the equation. All that he has done.
The nation of Israel will give God the glory.
Praise the Lord our God, Jesus Christ, the Praise the Lord.